You are listening to the Not at Physio podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Resmondo, owner of South Alabama Physiotherapy and creator of the Not at Physio, where life should be fun and light. This is the podcast where we talk about how to keep the active adult who's busy with work and family life fit and healthy to enjoy the Gulf Coast outdoors. Let's get into today's episode. Before we start today, I wanted to let you know about our free Facebook group, the Not at Physio. I do live trainings in the group each week to dive deeper into strategies to remain active and where you can ask me questions personally and I'll give you feedback. Okay, on to the episode. Hey guys, Jenny Resmondo here, the Not at Physio, coming in to introduce this next clip of the series with Matt, the inventor of the pizza diet. So I am in between patients at my clinic and I had a moment to be able to edit the next clip, and I wanted to just quickly show you or introduce you to what's happening. This is a continuation of a series. There's a lot of background noise because we were at the SSHC Live event down in Clearwater Beach, Florida. And we got evacuated from the conference room. However, we were actually already outside, and then everybody else got evacuated from the conference center because of a fire drill or fire alarm got pulled or something. I don't know. But you're going to hear background noise. I think this particular clip from that interview with Matt, there's not the fire alarm going off in the background, but there is external noises. So you're going to hear that. But this is a great story for you to know and learn and take from just valuable life nuggets in general. And I can't wait for you to listen to it and get something out of it. You'll also hear my friend Kelly Kessler, who also has her own podcast in this episode. She's more vocal in these clips than I am. I'm concentrating on holding the camera and making sure that Matt's actually in the camera. So I hope you all really appreciate and enjoy this new episode of the Not at Physio podcast.
For sure. And then I created a motivational speaking called Cooking Up Confidence. Yeah. And so as the inventor of the pizza diet, I walk people through the step-by-step of how to make a pizza, right? So for example, your dough is your foundation. Yeah. It's the floor, right? So without a strong foundation, your building could look beautiful, the chimney can be great, but it's going to collapse, right, over time. So to make a pizza, you can't just make a dough. Mm-hmm. It has to be salt, sugar, water, yeast, flour, oil, right, mixed together, right? And then you create a dough ball. Yeah. So in life, your ingredients that you mix into your personality or your career or your skills are education, personal hygiene, time management, professionalism, all the ingredients that make you who you are. Yeah. With that foundation, then you're able to go out in the real world and have a career, do anything, go to college, go to the military, work as a salesperson, or be in health and care. Yeah. You can do anything. Yeah. First responder. You can do whatever task or job you decide. Right. So I coach people through how to build up their own internal confidence, right? How to take action steps to achieve their dreams. So that's all part of the whole GMAT pizza diet story.
All the bases are covered.
The mind, the body. Because when you're an innovator, right? And I don't call myself a motivational speaker. Right? I call myself a visionary leader, because a visionary leader, by definition, is somebody who empowers people to take an action step towards their goal or dream. So I'm going to encourage you to do it. Like in my scenario, there was no roadmap to success. If I want to be a wrestler, if I want to go do what Hulk Hogan did, you create a name and a gimmick. Then you work at a local show and you work your name up, build a fan base, you keep going and keep growing, and eventually you get called up to the majors. Baseball, football, you name it. There's always roadmaps to success in so many industries. But when you're a true visionary, when you're changing the world, when you're trying to leave a legacy behind, there's no roadmap. So I try to help people have big ideas, big visions, make them visible to the world, so that they can take their idea and let everybody see the genius behind it, right? So they can actually apply it to their lifestyle. And that's my job. If I keep it all internal, then I don't do anybody any service. I'm not helping people. I'm just keeping it internal. And there's so many brilliant people that have so many great ideas, and they just don't have the confidence to let the world know. They're a word of criticism, a word of judgment. right? They're so worried about what the keyboard warriors will say behind them, right?
Yeah.
So if you can just break through and then let the world see your brilliance, man, everybody benefits.
Yeah, I mean that's like I think I heard on like in my that podcast. It's like if you gave someone a gift and they never opened it, you would feel like like shafted by it. But like God gives you all gifts, and if you don't open them and use them, it's like you're doing the world a disservice and you're doing God a disservice.
So are we a Christian-based platform?
I mean, I believe in God. I don't know if I'm like,
so
yeah.
so I'm going to share my spiritual story with you. Okay. So. Oh man, I don't share this story often.
I was like,
actually,
go ahead, do it.
Mike still?
Mike's still on. You're
good.
good.
Man, I'm gonna share my real story.
Yeah, your real story.
My real story.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't do this.
This
I don't
is
do
just
this.
being recorded. If you don't want to,
Oh, we're good. We're
this is not live.
Oh, God's telling me to say the story. He's telling me this is it. It's like, all right, so everybody was quarantined in 2020 for COVID, right? So that was the second time that I was quarantined. The second time I've been quarantined in my life.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
The first time I was quarantined was when I was born in my mother's womb. I went straight from her womb into an incubator. I was born incredibly sick. I was born with a rare disease called hyaline membrane disease, which is now known as RDS, respiratory distress syndrome. Now, 13 years prior to my birth, the President of the United States, the Kennedys, lost a son named Patrick in the White House to the same disease that I was born with. So when the moon landing happened a few years later, the government took backlash. How come we could put a man on the moon, but we can't say the president's premature baby, and we're awful people? And so they started funding what's now known as the NICU. So in 1976, I was a guinea pig in an experimental ward from the funding that came from Patrick's passing some 13 years before me. And at first, my parents were going to name me Maxwell. But because I was so sick, at 24 hours, they called the doctors in. They said, listen, if your family, if you guys are religious, now's the time to call in the pastor, say goodbye to him. We've done everything we can do medically. In the morning, we're going to take him off the respirator. So in all my photos of me shirtless, showing the physique of the bodybuilding, of the professional body, of becoming a champion eating pizza, it's to honor God, showing the scars where the respirator saved my life. That I have the hole here and I have one under my arm, where at 24 hours of age, I was given up on. And so overnight, my heart and my brain monitor just off the chart. My grandmother had saved water from the Jordan River. I was baptized with that. They changed my name to Matthew, first book of the Second Testament. They said goodbye to me in the flesh. My parents parted ways mentally and said he wasn't meant to be, let him go. And one doctor convinced my mom not to give up hope. That the power of belief, right? And so my mother said, I'm not capable of raising a vegetable. If he's not meant to be, if he's not going to be normal, if he's not going to have a regular life, let him go. So my mother said, the doctor said, believe. He's going to be 6 foot tall and strong as an ox. That's what the doctor convinced my mom to believe. And all she had was just prayer and faith, right? So I got out of the hospital. I had lost all human instinct on how to suck, how to swallow. My mother had to teach me how to become a human again. So the greatest gift that I've ever been given was my mother never raised me as a victim. She never raised me with a mentality of like, oh, you're not like everyone else. Oh, you're too frail. I graduated high school at 117 pounds. I couldn't fight. I couldn't defend myself. I had no confidence. So what did I do? I turned to the muscle magazines. I'm like, I'm going to go build the body that I see on the image of the magazines. So I did. But then I had no skill to use it. I couldn't protect myself. So I turned to martial arts. I spent 25 years in the martial arts. And now I train the world's most dangerous people. In fact, Ken Shamrock, the world's most dangerous man from the UFC 1, came to my restaurant Wednesday to hang out and eat and like do a radio interview, right? So now I surround myself with the most dangerous people in the world. I have no anxiety. I have no stress. I have no fear. I built my own confidence from within. I got bullied every day of my life through high school. Bullied, terrorized, tortured every day. And I'm like, I'm not going to allow this to be it. I get one vessel to carry my Holy Spirit on earth with from zero till I'm in the grave, right? Now, everything we do in life has regulation. You go catch a fish, you got to have a license. You go out and drive a boat, you got to have a captain's license. If you have a motorcycle, if you have a car, a driver's license, everything we do has oversight, except your health. There's nobody in the government saying that this is the way you should move your body. And in my belief, movement is the greatest medicine we have, right? So I purposely changed my life from the genetics that I was given. And I can't take all the glory. One, I give it all to God, right? So I knew my purpose was meaningful from childbirth. My first taste of fame was not GQ magazine Elite Athlete of the Year. It was being a miracle baby that survived this horrific disease. But one guy invested in me when I was a 17-year-old kid. I went to a gym and I was terrified. And I was doing a lat pull down. I was bringing it from the bar down to my quad and bouncing it. And I had no idea what I was doing. No intent, no thought, no process. And this massive dude comes over, and I'm like, is that yours? Because I'm not touching it. I don't know what it is. I don't even know what that is. And he goes, hey, you're doing that wrong. I was like, oh. He's like, do it like this. So he showed me one after another, after another, after another. And so after about an hour of getting crushed by this guy, I finally had the confidence to ask him, hey man, why did you waste your time showing me that stuff? And you know what he said to me? Because I didn't waste my time in anything, because I invested it. I was like, in what? He goes, in you. And I'm a 17-year-old, 115-pound kid. And I'm like, what? He goes, because you're not home on a couch. You're not laying around feeling sorry for yourself. You're in here trying to fight your own genetics to do something that you have a vision for. He goes, it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a grind. It's going to suck. It's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done in your life. But I promise you, whatever you desire your body to be, you can achieve it. Hard work, discipline, and never giving up on yourself. He goes, and I respect you for being here. And that guy changed my life. And so that's me.
That was a Jesus moment.
So now I pour that into other people.
Jesus moment.
I pour that into other people. And so that's part of all of this. But that was so my mom, I give my mom all the glory. You know, she was the power, the magic behind it all.
That was amazing.
Oh my
Awesome
God,
story.
what an amazing, like, it hits you, you know? It's like,
I mean, I was there, you know? And I know what I was meant to do.
well, like from talking to you, it sounds like you definitely honored everybody who believed in you and honored God in what you're doing. So, I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's without him, it's not possible.
Yeah.
You know? And you know, look, the Instagram videos you see come up and it says, if I gave you $10 million today, would you take it? But the catch is, you gotta die tomorrow. No, hell no, I'm not taking that. Okay, so time is worth more than money, right? And then you're like, okay, so how about I give you $10 million, but I give you all the time, you live to be 100 years old. But the catch is, you're sick in a hospital bed in ICU, you can't get out unassisted. No, hell no, why would I want to be miserable laying in bed like all the money I can't do anything with it? Okay, so your health is more valuable, so time and money is not more valuable. Okay, how about this? Third deal. I give you $10 million, I give you your health, you're able to freely roam the world, you'll be 100 years old, right? But all the people you care about have to go tomorrow. You're gonna be alone. No, hell no. All right, so now relationships are more important, right? So when you put things in perspective, right? The only thing that's the most valuable in my perspective as we stand here at the valet and I'm thinking about looking at these cars, when people neglect their vehicles, when they run them in the ground, they don't take care of them, they don't change the oil, they just drive them hard and fast and don't take care of it. At some point that car loses value to where it's not worth putting more money into it. It's better to trade it in and get a new one. And you start over with a new odometer. But when you're health, you don't get a new odometer. You're always gonna have a depreciating asset that's continuing to require surgery and medications or things changing diet, or lack of mobility or enjoyment of life or quality of life. So look at your life and your health like you do a vehicle.
Yeah.
You get one vehicle to carry you through your whole life. What are you going to choose?
Right. Yeah. 100%. You're going to take care of it. I mean, yeah, you're going to.
That question is pretty powerful too. If you think about the psychology behind it, one vehicle, you get one car for your whole life. What are you picking?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'd probably pick a truck. Like, yeah, I mean, it's versatile. You can carry a lot of things. Like, you can be adventurous with it.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, see, a lot of people go supercar. They
Yeah.
go, I'll go Lamborghini.
Yeah.
But it's only a two-seater. You can't store anything. There's no utility.
You can still have family
So if you're carrying it for
with it.
life,
Yeah.
right, whole life, and as seasons change, you have to be versatile, right?
Yeah.
So without your health, man,
Yeah.
you got nothing.
Yeah. It's so true. It's, yeah.
There's a lot. There are millions and millions of people laying in a hospital bed right now, looking out, making deals with God. Please, just I'll go back out. I'll do the right things. I'll change my lifestyle. I'll take action. Right? Like that's we live every day. We wake up where we're rich. $10 million rich every single day. And I love those videos that people do. I love the perspective that they give.
Yeah,
And then I just
for sure.
apply and adopt a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and I created my own concept.
Yeah, and it's like I think we like always need those reminders too, because it's like it's easy to kind of forget and get back into the habits, but it's like when you hear that you're like, yeah, okay, and then it's like you just show gratitude towards it. Like I think that's the biggest thing is like just being grateful, and like it's a game changer. If you can just like look at what you have, and it's like every day, if like you just walked out of bed, there's something to be grateful for.
I mean, if you remember back when and I'm not dating you guys like how old you are, but I'm 47, and I remember.
I'm older than you.
Okay, I remember Time Magazine did a story, an article back when newspaper and magazines were a thing, and the whole cover was like smiley faces, and they had done a ton of research on how to go from -5 back to balance when you were depressed or you're sad or anxiety. But there was very little research at the time from 0 to +5. Like what matrix actually trigger happiness? And so after your basic necessities of life are met, shelter, food, just clothing, just necessities.
Yeah.
Money did very little to spike the happiness.
Yeah.
It was relationships, it was family.
Yeah, they did that long study. It was
Right.
on the End My Life podcast, and
Yeah.
they talked about that study, and JFK was actually in it.
Okay,
And they
yeah.
followed him. Yeah, and it wasn't it didn't have anything to do about like socioeconomic class as long as your needs were met.
For sure.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
my wife is Brazilian.
Yeah.
And so when we go to Brazil, we see poverty at its worst. I mean, things that they call homes are not homes. They're just a collapsed building with a corner and a tarp over, but their families there.
Yeah.
They have food. They're together.
Yeah.
The sun's out. They're alive. They have their health.
Yeah.
They're free to like walk around and do what they want when they, and they're happy.
Yeah.
They're truly happy
Yeah.
with nothing compared to American standards.
Yeah, compared,
Right?
for sure.
So when you have those kind of perspectives, traveling and seeing the world, it gives you a new profound like value of like what we wake up to every day. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think so many people try to fill their hearts externally, like, oh, I'll buy that, I'll feel better. I'll meet my future person, oh, I'll feel better. But it's like unless you're working on the inside, like that will never fill your heart. Like you can constantly have the new job, the new car, whatever. It'll never make up the void that you're lacking here.
So I just had this conversation today, and I told my friend, and I won't mention names obviously, but I said you can't look for somebody to complete you. You have to complete yourself, and then you find somebody to complement you, and now you have two whole people who choose because of common interest to travel, to share life together, to raise children together. To elevate. If you look for someone to complete you, and that person leaves, you crumble. And people can't live without those people that filled them up or made them, their identity became embedded in who they are, right? So you have to work on you. It's always about self-improvement, right? Not for vanity, but for just to make the relationship with your spouse or your partner or your friend or your coworkers, your business partners, to make it better.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think that's why we're here. We're all here to like evolve our soul. I mean, that's what I believe. Like, we're all here to learn lessons and evolve and like, go through struggles, but like take that lesson from it so we can like move forward. And it's like, unless, I see a lot of times like things repeat unless you like really learn your lesson, like things will repeat. So you finally get the lesson. And like, once you're like, oh, received, now you can like progress forward.
Well, I mean, look, we're all born with no knowledge.
Yeah.
We know nothing,
No.
right? So with that being said, everything we know is something we've learned from.
Yeah.
Most likely we failed.
Yeah.
You never take a test and get 100% without knowing the history or the material before, right? So you learn, then you apply, and you learn and you apply. And I'm not saying that what I see on the internet is all true. I don't believe everything that David Sinclair says. I don't believe everything Lane Norton says. I don't believe everything that Huberman says. But there are elements to each one that I'm like, oh, that is logical to me. I believe this. I follow the science. I think this is applicable. How can I apply it to my concept to make it easy to stay with and enjoy the process? And those are the things that I look for, like how to just embed little things from each person I meet. And every time you meet somebody, you take something away.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Like you learn something you didn't know. You experience something you didn't know.
Oh, it's definitely happened here.
Yeah,
This
right?
has been like such a cool conversation. I'm like,
This has
It's
been
so
amazing.
cool. Yeah.
And so for those of you out there who are looking at chasing dreams, the way that I came into this seminar, like, and I own a pizzeria, and I knew that the social influencers, I cooked with Kevin Harrington, Grant Cardone, Gary's his twin brother, I cooked for his daughter and their school.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of influencers in this area.
Yeah.
So I reached out and I met Anthony and I met John and I met all these guys. And all I did was I said, look, I can't come to the conference you guys have, but I would love to donate pizza to be a part of it. If it enhances your guest experience, I'll donate the world's healthiest pizza,
Oh my gosh,
the
that's so
same
cool.
food that I
Yeah.
put in my own body as a gift, because I would love to like work with you guys in the future.
Yeah.
And so they said, there's over 100 people coming. We can't, there's a lot of food, a lot of effort. How about this? What if you just bring the food up to the office and feed the staff that work the weekend and sacrifice the time from their families as a way to give back to them for all their hard work?
Yeah.
And it'd be a less number of people and you can come up. And that's how I met everyone.
That's
And so it's from a genuine
Yeah.
gift from the heart
Yeah.
with no expectation in return. My generosity was met with, man, tell me more about the truck.
Yeah.
Oh, can I start training with you like a couple times a week? And now I train all the people that put on this event here at the SSHC.
cool. Yeah.
I train John and Jess and Anthony. I train them.
amazing. Yeah.
And so now they're in my circle, my life, right?
Yeah.
So when you have a dream, you have to go after it.
Yeah.
They could have easily never responded to my email. Could have blown me off. I mean, how many times have I sent an email out to a celebrity and like, hey, I'd love to work with you. I'd love to collaborate. Hey, I see you always talk about you're accessible, but when I send you a message, you don't reply, right?
Yeah.
So they reply,
Yeah.
right? So I have to align myself with these kind of people. They're open-minded and they want to network and grow as well.
Grow. Yeah.
100%.
And that's how
You're
we're-
vibing with their energy.
Yeah.
That's like that's it.
Exactly.
It's like two pianos playing at the same note. Like you're vibing at the right energy with them. It's like you elevate.
And then last night, Trevor Crane, the
Yeah.
13-time bestseller.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for the cars to come out. And I was like, this is my mobile gym. And he's like, oh, what is it? And I was like, it's a gym. And I told him the science behind it. And he goes, 5 minutes? I go, yes, sir. He goes, prove it. Like, get it up. Let's go. And so that, now on my Instagram, it's Trevor Crane on the back of my
How
truck.
cool is that?
Rockstar.
That's
like killing it.
awesome. Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
So now from stage to another stage, right?
Yeah.
It's all
We
network.
got to get the gym out here.
Huh?
I need
know,
to
I
record
think-
it. I don't. Have they brought it back
know.
out?
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
All right, I'm gonna
myself.
pause it.
Okay, what'd you think? There was some Jesus moments in there in his story. What a great testimony that Matt has to be able to show, how he came into this world very sick, and he was able to transform his life, and the power of investing your skills and knowledge into somebody else, how that made an impact on his life and how he's making impacts on other people's lives, and it's his life mission. It resonates so much with me, and my goal here at my clinic and here for you guys on the podcast is, we all have our own gifts and unique abilities, and we just have to have the courage to be able to share that. And if you hear something from somebody that was helpful to you, you need to share that with other people, whether you say, hey, listen to this podcast episode, or hey, listen to this podcast episode, or you go out and you create your own, like what I've done. The true mission that Matt has and that I have are just to help more people grow and flourish in their own bodies. So I hope you found this valuable. There will be at least one more episode in this series that shows the equipment that he has on the back of his truck. Maybe I'll show the whole thing. I'm not real sure just yet how I want to edit that for you guys, but stay tuned for the next episode of the Not a Physio podcast. Always like and subscribe and share it with somebody that you think would get some value out of it. Talk to you soon.